How much can you read into the first practice back off a bye week? It's a light day out in Berea yesterday. All questions to Kevin Stefanski about Deshaun Watson. And when it comes to Watson and the shoulder, there's two levels to this. There's the level of the actual shoulder, the actual impact on the game. Can he throw the football? And then the level of how it was handled last week. And we have moved on from that second part of that. Whatever happened, how they spoke all week, how he was going to play, it seems like they maybe learned some lessons from that based on the answers from Kevin Stefanski. But you know it's a big deal when you sit down and you see that the first 6 questions to Kevin Stefanski yesterday were all directed at the quarterback. It's the most important position in sports. It's the biggest key to success for the Cleveland Browns. And there's injury circling that. Certainly the NFL has had a rash of injuries all of a sudden that they're dealing with. And the Browns' biggest question, can Deshaun Watson be at 100% for Sunday when you go into one of the biggest games of the season? We got a little info on that yesterday. Think the Browns have learned just a little bit. We'll hear from Kevin Stefanski. We got Cavs basketball tonight. MLB playoffs. Oh, boy, do I need to stay away from that on Tipico. We'll get all... I am the black angel of death when it comes to betting on baseball. So I'll give you my picks, fade them, and you'll be doing just fine on the MLB playoffs. We'll get to all that this morning right here on Big Play. Welcome to the show, everybody. I am Matt Fontana. He is Ryan Tyler. Good morning and welcome on in. We're streaming live on our YouTube page at Matt Fontana Show. Catch us on Twitter as well for the live stream there. We're also on the iHeart app. Take that with you wherever you go. Download it, search Big Play. You get us, you get Chico, you get Reflog. Get it all through the iHeart app as well. And, of course, podcasts when you need them at Spotify and Apple. Dude, I told you I was done betting on baseball, and I didn't. I got sucked back in, and oh, boy, am I wrong.
Who were you betting on yesterday, Matt?
So here's the thing. I took the Braves, but I took them at a run and a half. And then they were getting smoked the whole game. Austin Riley hit that big home run. Thank God for Bryce Harper. And whatever. You know, they win by run. So then in the nightcap, too, I was like, oh, come on, the Dodgers. They're not going to go down 0-2 to the Diamondbacks. Wait, what? What? So I'm staying away from baseball. Or better yet, I probably shouldn't stay away from baseball. And again, you just fade me. Because the Orioles are down. That series I probably don't see flipping around. But still, like, I am the angel of death right now when it comes to baseball. But nonetheless, we do have preseason basketball tonight. Cavs are tipping off. Really excited just to see the team. And obviously we know Jared Allen dealing with injury. We'll get to all that coming up. We have our biggest overreactions from week 5. I know the Browns didn't play, but Dan Graziano does this, recapping the week, and there were some really interesting things in there about Belichick, the Ravens, the Vikings trading Kirk Cousins. Yes, we will have to talk Garrett Bowles again. I got in with some people on Twitter yesterday discussing Garrett Bowles. He's the flavor of the month to trade for and all that. That's all coming up, taking up till 11 o'clock this morning right here on Big Play. It is a 2 for Tuesday as well. Always 2 questions, 2 answers. A very hard one for young Ryan over there on question number 2.
They're both up there right now, so who's ever watching, go vote for us.
At Matt Fontana Show. We start with Watson, though. First day back for the Browns. They did have a light practice. Normally, you don't practice on a Monday. That's your kind of off day. Tuesday's their off day, but Monday's usually just meetings and all that. But coming out of the bye, the Browns had a light practice, and Deshaun Watson was not outside with the rest of his team. He was inside doing work, and they just said that this is all part of the process when it comes to the rehab. And I want to make this clear for as we start the show this morning. The decisions or what happened with him not playing in the Ravens game, I'm beyond that. We need to move past that. Are there maybe lessons to be learned for the Browns and maybe even Deshaun Watson on what they say during the week? Yes, and that's apparent because we'll hear from Stefanski in just a minute on the change on how they feel. I'm not saying Stefanski so much because you know Kevin. He's always even keel. He's never going to give you anything. He's always going to be down the middle, not give out any information. I think there was maybe some missteps on Watson's place of how confident he was going to play. Didn't. Okay, fine. We are here. And I want to focus this on today, right here, moving forward. Because the fact remains is that your starting quarterback is injured. The level of severity, I don't want to play that game anymore. Well, he's medically cleared. I don't know. It's not my shoulder, man. I don't know. I have no idea. And how he progresses throughout the week and all the rehab, that's the toughest thing. You didn't get the payoff. I'm sure for Watson, too. You worked all week with treatment and rehab and trying to get that shoulder right, and he woke up Sunday and just couldn't do it. That sometimes is life. The best laid plans, and you work so hard for something and it doesn't happen. Welcome to it, right? But I'm more talking about now that he has this, is this something that we need to be concerned about moving forward? And that'll be our first two for Tuesday. Are you concerned about Deshaun Watson's shoulder moving forward? Not the handling of it. Is he going to be able to play? Is he going to be able to play to not only just get on the field, but to a high level? Because I'm almost at a place now, Ryan, that I need him to play Sunday, even if he's not at 100%. And this is a debate that always happens in every NFL room. Do you play him and make it worse? The old adage is 70% Deshaun Watson better than 100% DTR or PJ Walker. Well, yes, the answer to that question is yes. And just giving the 49ers something to think about, which I'm sure they're well prepared and they are preparing for Deshaun Watson to play. That's the easier thing to do, because then if he doesn't, then, well, just they're preparing for Deshaun Watson. Let's just put it that way, right? So the question is this something that I have to be concerned about, or is it something that is going to be in the back of my mind moving forward? I don't want it to be, but it is. And it's just, look at around the league. Justin Jefferson going on IR now with a hamstring. You got Achane going down for a couple of weeks. You got a neck injury for Danny Dimes. You got Anthony Richardson out for a month. Welcome to the NFL. Leighton Vander Esch. Not that Dallas defense missed him very much on that other, well, their old defense just got smoked, but he's out now. You are starting to enter that era of football where just every week it's injuries. They're not all season enders. Was Batonio on crutches too, by the way? Did I see that?
That's what I heard, and apparently he's day-to-day, but that doesn't sound very day-to-day to me.
I mean, the good news is that Myles Garrett should be okay with his foot. Ethan Posick, we'll see. Injuries are starting to pile up, and those positions are important, but it's the quarterback. It is the quarterback that is everything, and specifically to this team. So the question is to you, the fans, the people that are watching these games, without the inside info that we don't have, are you concerned about it moving forward? Is this something that you are going to worry about each and every week? And there are a lot of people out there that are frankly already sick of it. And I think they're sick of it because the conversation sometimes gets driven towards the, minutia, the other stuff. He said he was going to play, and there were people in the locker room that were upset about it. That stuff I really don't. I care about that a little bit, but I'm beyond that. I move forward. If this is some riff in the locker room, they'll get that figured out, whatever. I'm talking about on the field playing the game, because it's apparent that if you don't have Deshaun Watson, you don't have a chance. That's most teams in the NFL. And we got into that a lot with when DTR had to play. And people want to try to give me examples of Chad Henne coming in for a game or Colt McCoy. The fact is, when you lose your starting quarterback, you are cooked. Go ask the Jets about that. They can win a nice game here and there. They can very happily beat the Denver Broncos. Great job there. If you don't have your starting quarterback, you have nothing. And there are varying levels of starting quarterback, as we know. Deshaun Watson should be an upper echelon quarterback. He's not elite. Could be elite, but right now I need him to play to a top 12 level. Can he do that with his shoulder? Is this something that comes Sunday, the shoulder's fine? He needed the rest, he needed the time off, and we move forward. To Monday, I don't care that he didn't practice. I don't care that he didn't practice, or he practiced inside, or he wasn't out there with his teammates. That carries nothing for me, because it is part of that plan. And I'm sure the plan is laid out to get him to Sunday. Am I ready for it to be a Joe Thomas situation, where Joe Thomas later in his career, he didn't practice all week. And he got to the game, and J.C. Treader, the same thing. With veteran, older guys, sometimes you just don't practice. They know what they need to do. Can you do that with a quarterback? I don't know the answer to that question. I don't. Sometimes quarterback is a lot harder to do than a left tackle. I'm sure Joe would tell me differently, but that's different. And also, Joe is a Hall of Famer and the best to ever do it in this town, one of the best to ever do it all the time. That's different. But is this something that the Browns can have Watson be limited in practices throughout the week and then still get to the game and play effective? Make no mistake, too, the only thing that I care about and the only thing that matters is winning the game. And my number one way to win the game is for Deshaun Watson to play. I don't care about anything else. I don't care what he needs to do during the week. I don't care what rehab he's going through. Is he going to play Sunday, and can we go win that football game? That's it. That's the only question that I have. The only thing I really care about. So to our Twitter question this morning, are you concerned about it moving forward? Yeah, I am. If this is something that is obviously impactful enough that he had to miss a game, then I am going to be concerned about it until that concern is rested. How do I erase the concern for Deshaun Watson's shoulder? He plays well, and it doesn't become a problem anymore. I hope that happens. The other side of that, he does play, he re-aggravates it, and we got a big problem on our hands. I don't want to think about that. I don't want to play that game of this being the unraveling of the season. There are an alarmist group out there with the Browns fans. And God bless you, you're always going to be that way because that's all you've ever seen. All you've ever seen with this team is dysfunction, and you always look back on things and you go, that right there. We should have known at that point that was the unraveling for a season, for a player, whatever. And there are people that are jumping on, this is the unraveling for the Browns. I'm not doing that. I don't believe that. I truly don't. Okay, maybe I do a little. I can't help it. Like, there is that alarmist group that always go to the extreme to try to say that this is the one thing that'll just jettison us back into dysfunction and the season will be cooked. Yeah, to go down that path, the shoulder doesn't heal, he plays poorly, you lose game, that'll cost Kevin Stefanski his job, and we're doing this all over again. I don't want to live in that world. I don't want to. So I'm going to have the hope and the belief that it's going to be fine, but I am still concerned about it. I am concerned just on this. It is an injury to your starting quarterback. I would be concerned about that with anybody. Any of the starting quarterbacks that we've ever had here. That is a level of concern. Is it a high level? Remains to be seen. I'm not to the nth degree like some people are. But Ryan, I am concerned about it. So to vote on our first Twitter question, which is up on a 2 for Tuesday, are you concerned about Deshaun Watson's shoulder moving forward? I am. And I'll be interested to hear people that say no. Talk me off the ledge. I would love to be talked off the ledge this morning.
Yeah, so I actually gave the voters a little bit of options there. So
okay.
Extremely worried, moderately worried, a little worried, or not worried at all.
Ryan, you're breaking 2 for Tuesday then, because it's always 2 questions and 2 answers.
Oh, okay.
That's fine. We'll let it roll. It's already up. People have already cast their vote. We don't want to make them go back. Follow us at Matt Fontana
That's
Show.
That's a very good point.
Sorry, you go back. Go. That's fine. Tuesday. That's okay. That's okay.
But yeah, I think it's almost impossible to say you're not concerned at all with Deshaun Watson's shoulder, considering he stayed inside, and we don't have the luxury of knowing exactly what that entails. Whether it was watching film, whether he was with personal trainers inside, that's we don't know, and that just makes it so ambiguous. And yeah, I'm concerned.
Okay, I'll ease you off for a second here, and just on that, we don't need to know. In a world that people are on social media left and right, the reports are coming out, the media is out there every day. I love the group of reporters out there. I think I hate getting into these media wars, so to speak, but I'll tell you this, there's a damn good group of reporters out there. You want to start comparing it around the league, I will tell you this, you might not always like the things that they have to say or the things they have to report on, but there is a damn good group of media people in this town for really all of the teams, but we're talking specifically about the Browns. We don't need that. The Browns are going to keep this guarded, and as they should. And that's tough for people in a world that feel like we should be given every piece of information. that we should be given every single update on exactly what's going on. So I don't know if Deshaun Watson threw yesterday, or if he was just inside doing, sprints and just trying to keep his conditioning up. I have no idea. That's fine. I don't need to know that information because my head and my focus is Sunday and winning that game. That's all I care about. And that's the nice part of what we do as fans are in this. I don't have to worry about the week to week. I don't have to worry about the day to day during the week. I worry about Sunday. That's it. I turn on my TV like everybody else and try to watch the Browns and hope the Browns win the game. That's it. Do I want to be updated? Do I want to? Yeah. And that's, I think, where some people they felt like they were, I don't want to say lied to, but they felt misled because all week for the Ravens was he was going to play. And then when he doesn't, you have this giant letdown. And you have this giant, you were expecting one thing and given another. Nobody likes that. So that's kind of where this week maybe I'm learning a little bit to say that I'm just not going to listen. I might not listen to any of it. But there are still things Kevin Stefanski has to say. So let's hear from Stefanski. The first question up was, they had open practice earlier, so the media was out there. They didn't see Watson. Here's Kevin Stefanski talking about Watson working inside, courtesy of the Browns.
Is that the one? Sorry, man.
Yeah, sorry. Cut one, I think. Is it like the first one? Watson working inside today.
I got it. Here we go.
Just part of his rehab, still working through everything. I think with all of our guys, just going to treat all of our injured guys day to day and make sure that we're making smart decisions.
Okay, that day to day part is what I want to play because, again, I don't put that on Stefanski because he doesn't say anything ever. But that's a little message to be said. We need to approach it from that way. We are putting ourselves in a corner if we come out adamantly and say he's going to play. And that's probably a message more for the players and Deshaun Watson himself. Because it wasn't coach-driven that week. It was more the players feeling like he was going to play and Watson himself. Then the question to Kevin Stefanski, do you think Watson is going to play on Sunday?
I'm not going to get into specifics about, Sunday. I know it's a broken record, but really just treat it day by day.
Okay. They're good answer. The right answer. Then these last two. Is Watson dealing with pain? So we know the big things about the structural and he was cleared, but is Watson dealing with pain in that shoulder, Kevin Stefanski?
I'm not going to get into all the specifics, Mary Kay. He's doing everything in his power, working around the clock with rehab. So he's just doing what he's being told to do in terms of his rehab process.
Can I rip that apart for a second?
Please do.
He's dealing with pain. He didn't say no. And Kevin Stefanski is not Deshaun Watson, and when they speak to Watson tomorrow, they will probably ask him if he's dealing with the pain. Okay, I said I wasn't going to worry about during the week. Wait to see if Watson speaks to the media tomorrow. I assume that he will. I have no reason to believe that he won't. Watson speaks every Wednesday. So in the Browns media world out there in Berea, they have Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And they have select players that each week, the media pool, you can request players to speak to. So like early in the season, they wanted to talk to Dwan Jones. So Dwan Jones goes up to the podium. But there are staple players. Every week, Deshaun Watson, Nick Chubb when he was playing, Joel Bitonio, Myles Garrett. They usually walk Anthony Walker up there because he's a captain. There was just always a rotation of players that you knew you were always going to get. Amari Cooper speaks every single week, and you could request others. So Watson speaks almost every Wednesday. Now, the thing is, injured players are not required to speak to the media. Watson, to keep up appearances, so to speak, he probably will, and as he did for the Baltimore week, he spoke to the media. So I expect him to speak tomorrow. And the question probably better for him is, are you dealing with pain? What is the level of pain, or what is it like? And he'll probably give a non-answer or probably try to speak through it the best that he can. Or they might pull him back and just say, dude, you're going to be barraged with shoulder questions, and we don't want any of that out there. So keep an eye on that for tomorrow. Then the final thing from Kevin Stefanski, and this is the clip that has started to make the rounds, and there's a specific phrasing that Stefanski used here that people are jumping on board. The question was, Kevin, he was medically cleared to play. Kevin Stefanski yesterday at practice.
Yeah, I think the piece there that's important is medically cleared versus functionally able to do your job. And I think that's what, with all of our guys, when you're working through an injury, you need to be able to functionally perform. And that's what Deshaun's working very hard in his rehab to be able to get back to 100%.
Functionally perform. We barely function to perform on this show every day, Ryan. That's just how it goes. Functionally able to perform.
Well, we are medically cleared.
We are medically cleared. You are right. That is a fact. We are medically cleared to do the show. Functionally, I don't know. You listen every day and tell me what you think. Aren't those the same thing, though? Like, the varying degree is if you have a bum shoulder, the doctors tell you, yeah, you're not going to hurt it any worse. You could go out there and play, but then actually be able to throw a football 30 yards. That's where the deciding of the terms they are functionally able to perform versus medically cleared, it just gets dicey for me. It just gets weird. And I know people jumped on. It was just kind of a funny thing a funny phrase for him to use. It was clear and obvious that he couldn't throw. Can you fix that in a weekend off and a week's worth of rehab now moving forward for Sunday? That will be the biggest question. That is your biggest thing that you need to have for Sunday. But it's just funny to hear him say, like, well, medically clear. I guess my thing is, if you can't throw a football, then are you really medically cleared? If you can't do the thing that you're supposed to do, if I have an ankle injury and I can't run on my ankle, well, then yes, I can't functionally perform, but then also I would think I'm not medically cleared. I guess medically would be they took MRIs and x-rays and there's nothing broken or strained or torn in the shoulder, so therefore he can go out and do it. I hate this, man. I hate it. Because it's just, I don't know. I'm asking, it sounds like for a miracle for this shoulder to be fine and for him to go out and play it. And I'm getting mixed messages. Well, it's okay from this standpoint, but it's not okay from that standpoint. Can he play? And the Browns, if anything, got an answer in that game against Baltimore. He has to play. You have no prayer if he doesn't. They probably felt that anyway, but now you know that for a fact, that you have to have Watson play. And then the other thing to enter the conversation, do you just sit him in a game against the 49ers that you might not win anyway if he plays? You get him fully healthy and then say, we have to then go on a run against the Colts, Seahawks, and Cardinals and win all three of those games. That's another thought process. It's something similar to what the Bengals probably dealt with Joe Burrow. Do you sacrifice a game, or in Burrow's case, 2 here and there, to get him fully right and you make a run for the rest of the season? Now, it's different because Watson was just the Baltimore game. But I guess talked about fanning scared, and I'm not fanning scared. The 49ers are a very, very, very good football team. They are the best team in the league right now. And even at a full strength, Watson, full strength Jack Conklin, full strength Nick Chubb, full strength Joel Bitonio, that's still going to be a really hard game to win. There's a path to victory, as always. But that's got to cross their minds. If we sit him and get him fully healthy, you then put all the onus on the next stretch of month of games saying you got to pretty much go undefeated. And then you face the Ravens, the Steelers, the Broncos. I mean, there's a stretch of about 6 games after this one that if the Browns win 5 out of 6, let's play that out for a second. So let's say you fall Sunday. You fall to 2-3. But then you win 5 out of your next 6, you are sitting at 7-4. That's a good spot to be in, and especially if you could remedy the losses against the Ravens and the Steelers. There's no guarantee in that plan. Because I think if I could guarantee you that plan, everybody would sign up for that, including the Browns. Everybody. But I can't. So that's where do you throw him out there against the 49ers and hope to try to squeeze one by? There is an element, too, that if the game starts getting out of hand, that they would pull him out of there and give it to Dorian Thompson-Robinson. And I said this yesterday, and I want to reiterate it today. I'm so excited for Sunday. I really am. To see where the Browns stand against the 49ers, but I'm going to be a realist about it. And I'm not going to sit here Monday and sound the alarms if we lose, saying that we need to fire this and Watson that and this. I'm not doing any of that. I'm excited to see where the Browns stand, knowing that it's the toughest team in football that we're facing. So let it play out. Let it play out. Today, I'm preparing for Deshaun Watson to play. That's my belief. And I might maybe set myself up for a letdown again. We'll see. Twitter question is up. At Matt Fontana Show. How concerned are you with Deshaun Watson's shoulder? Extremely, moderately, a little, or not worried at all? We can do it this way. We can combo it of yes or no. We'll do extremely or moderately is yes, and then a little or not worried is no.
Okay.
So if you want to divide it up that way, we are 80-20. Yes. Extremely is 36%. 44% is moderately. 12% a little. 8% not worried. So again, about 80-20. People are concerned to some level about Deshaun Watson's shoulder. Vote on that. Our second two for Tuesday, as always, 2 questions, 2 answers. A little fun on it. Over the weekend, Fontana household, my son, 2 years old, he loves pizza. Who doesn't? So we had pizza one night. Then we went and got tacos for Sunday. Not Taco Tuesday or anything. Today is Tuesday. So it got me to thinking. And my buddies and I do this question a lot. You pick one and the other one goes away forever. Like for the rest of your life, would you rather have pizza or tacos? And there's loopholes to all of it. Like, could you get a calzone, like Ben from Parks and Rec? Are you a big calzone person and you could get a calzone to satisfy your pizza craving? Okay, yeah, it's not a pizza. You know, if I don't get a taco, could I get a burrito? Could I get a quesadilla and make it up to be like a taco? I guess you could. But we all know there's nothing like a good slice or just that taco that hits. And we are blessed with great pizza places, great taco places. We had Barrio on Sunday. Barrio always hits. Canado always hits, man. Ola Tacos there on Madison and Lakewood, so very good. Cilantro Taqueria on Detroit, over there on the West End. God, I go for some tacos right now. But then, you know, you think about the pizza too. So you only get one moving forward. I think probably... Man, it's really hard.
It is hard.
I'm going to probably say pizza because that's what I eat more of. Like on my life, because I also thought about this. Have you probably eaten more slices of pizza or more tacos in your life? Probably slices of pizza.
Definitely slices of pizza. I worked at a pizza place for like 6 years of my life.
Oh, really? Where at?
So I worked at Romeo's.
Oh, nice. Okay.
For a while. And then
Love
even
Romeo's.
when I went to the University of Cincinnati, I had a job at a pizza place called Mio. So
Nice.
So I've been around pizza my whole life. However, I think pizza makes sense, and it's so tough. But I think I'd actually go with tacos.
Really? Are you pizzaed out from your past
I think that's
employment?
definitely a factor. I'm just trying to imagine life without a taco, and it's just a little bit harder for me than to imagine life without pizza.
That is hard. Because sometimes, like, we have a lot of household. Every Friday, it's pizza night, right?
Yeah.
And you call up Master Pizza. I love. Shout out to Michael Mark, man. They have some good pizza over there at Master Pizza. Edison's, of course, is top notch. Athens, I'm in Lakewood, so Athens is right up there for a lot of people. I go pizza. I think I eat more pizza. There's something that just hits a little bit more for pizza when it comes to the weekend. So I think I got to lean pizza.
Oh, yeah.
But, dude, there's, like, again, we got that Barrio. And there's nothing, I don't know if I'm weird like this, like, when you know you're getting a meal that you just love and you don't eat all day, so you are just starving, and then you can just sit down and just... I demolished 3 without even thinking about it. And then I finished my son's. I about excommunicated him from the house. We got him Barrio tacos, and he didn't eat them. I was like, who are you? Who do you think you are?
Once he gets older, he'll understand how good they are.
He better.
But the real question is, because I always talk about this with my friends, and you brought them both up in Barrio and Condado, and they are very, very similar, and I always hear differing opinions into which one is better.
So let's start with this. That they are both good. Yeah. We can start with that they are upper echelon. They are delicious. Barrio has the they're the upstart, not upstart. They're legacy. They are something that like they started in Tremont. It's a Cleveland staple. I think they branched out now. They're like all across the country and all that kind of stuff. So there's something to be said about being a Clevelander and you have a little like buy-in when it comes to Barrio. Canado, which I just had a couple of weeks ago, they sneak up on me. Because I'll be honest, we probably eat more Barrio than we do Canado. Because for us, we live in West Park. There's a Barrio right there in Lakewood. Like, I could almost walk there if I needed to. Canado, there's one in, I think, Crocker, and then there's one in Strongsville. So my parents, I grew up in Brunswick. My parents live in Brunswick. So when they come, well, sometimes like, hey, can you stop and pick up a Canado for us? And that's what they did. And when I was eating it a couple of weeks ago, I took a step back and I go, damn, I forgot about how good Canado is. So like if you asked me in that like clutch moment, I probably would have said Canado. They're both good. I can't give you an answer. Like that's a really hard question.
Both Caleb and Paul in the comments agree Condado's over Barrio.
That I think it so what works on that is this. They're the flavor of the month. They're kind of newer. And I get that people could kind of be burned out on Barrio. Canado hit. When I had a couple weeks, I will just tell you this. For me, Barrio almost always hits. It almost always does. But when I had the Canado, I was like, damn. So each of them start from a very high place. There's no wrong answer there. But that's a tough one, man. Because I think the biggest thing for me, and they both do it, is the hard shell inside of the soft shell. It's a famous debate that I had at a previous place, and we discussed it. Soft shell always or hard shell. Yeah. I like the hard because my biggest knock on the hard shell is when you bite it, it just disintegrates. And again, from a former employer, you know the video. It broke. I don't know what to tell you. You can't eat hard shell tacos. They just turn into nachos. Now, the hard shell wrapped in the soft shell with the queso, with the guac that they throw in there, that is heaven. That is heaven on a tortilla right there. I'm in for that all day. And they each do it, which is great. I don't want to answer.
Well, pizza is kicking tacos butt in the poll.
And I'm a little shocked by that.
Mike Dorsey says, that's like asking which one of my kids is my favorite. I cannot live without either one.
That is, I mean, I know plenty of people that instead of pizza on the weekends, they go get, it's taco night, you know? We do, at the Fontana house, we do taco night. We just make our own tacos. Like, we don't go out every week for tacos, but it's a rare week that we don't make tacos at some point.
Now, the real quick, chips and salsa or chips and guac?
Chips and guac.
Oh, yeah.
Chips and guac.
For sure.
Chips and queso, close. But there's nothing like a good guac. Like, that's it right there. Chips and guac is where it's at. So Twitter questions are up. I'm sure, it will devolve into a Canado versus Barrio debate. What was the other one? Oh, unfortunately, it just closed. It was in Westlake. It was right across from Mitchell's. You know what I'm talking about?
I'm an East Side boy.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Oh, man, I feel bad because, again, it just closed. I'll have to Google it in the break. Baracco? No, they're still open. Cilantro Taqueria I talked about. Yeah, they're very good. Can't beat Taco Bell, of course. Nuevo. Shout out to Avo Modern Mexican, too, over there on West 25th. Gabe Spot, very good. I forgot about Ohio City Burrito, man. Ohio City Burrito. OCB is very good, too. There's actually, it's across the street from my son's school. So
can we just talk about tacos for 2 hours?
That's fine with me. That's fine with me. Somebody hit me in the Twitter inbox. There was a place in Westlake that just closed. I feel bad because obviously I can't go there. I'm going to tell you all about it. Oh, man. I could picture the spot. Hang on. I'm on a map now. I'm searching maps. There's 252. We got to go further east. All right, wait.
Big Play Dave tweeted Barrio over Condado because 1, fish tacos, and 2, you can't expect me to order tacos without the checklist. That's so true. That's one of my favorite things.
I do, and I that is fun because you have your order. So when I go to Barrio, or in the same thing, but with Barrio, I have the same order that I've always had. Sometimes I will tell my wife, like it's a little game where I'll, especially if we're there, what I'll do is I'll fill out, because you have 2 columns. I always get 3. So I always do 2 of my same order. Green Goddess, Coca-Cola steak, Coca-Cola marinated steak, add the cilantro rice, pico, queso fresco, the cilantro lime aioli, and a side of the crack sauce. That has been my order, I think, since the first time that I went to Barrio, and it'll be my order till the day I die. So then sometimes I'll then give my sheet to my wife, and I'll say, make me a taco. Just throw whatever you want. Even if it's a giant curveball, just make something. And I'll try it. No problem. But I have the same order. That first one is my same order forever. Same thing with Chipotle. I think since I've been going to Chipotle since I was probably a freshman in high school.
Yes.
Which is 20 years ago, right?
Think about how much money you've given Chipotle.
Years ago.
Wait,
Jesus.
Matt, okay, let's do the math. Let's say that you went to Chipotle, what, once a week? How would you say it?
Well, in high school, a lot more than that.
Okay.
Because, I'm at a point, and I'm only 34. God, as a freshman 20 years ago, just bury me now. Oh, my God. But I lived a life that Chipotle was new, right? Think about the world where, and then it's an older generation, when Starbucks was new. Like when Starbucks just hit this. Now, you can't go down the street without seeing the Starbucks. But think about there was maybe a life out there for some people where Starbucks had just got to town. I remember when Chipotle had just gotten to town. And I'll never forget this. My first time going. Wrestling, right after a wrestling practice or something. It was my wrestling buddies and I, and we were like, oh, we're going to go to Chipotle. I'm like, oh, I've never been there before. And we go in and we order. And the order that I had at Chipotle is the same order that I think I've gotten my entire life. Outside of, like, one time they had you buy a bowl, you get one free if you got, like, the new tofu. So I did that once. And I've had bites, like my wife gets beans. I don't get beans on my Chipotle. So I tell you, that no joke, over 20 years of semi-consistently going, thousands of dollars at least.
Oh, yeah.
And of the orders, I would say 98% of my orders at Chipotle over 20 years has been the same thing.
At me as well.
The same thing.
Creature of habit.
It's not that I haven't tried the pinto or the black beans. It's not that I haven't tried the corn salsa. It's just I know what I like.
Matt, I think we opened up.
Hits.
I think we opened up a wormhole with this question.
Tacos always do.
Now Nick, our boy Nick Padone says he agrees with Dave that Barrio is better than Condado. However, everybody in the YouTube is Team Condado. We're starting a little civil war.
We'll take both of them here on the show. We'd love to have you as advertisers. Welcome on in, Barrio, Condado. We love you both equally. Now, the other thing that could set it apart is who's got the better guac or queso. Like, because again, the tacos are to a point, but it's the add-ons that can do it for you. Because Barrio's got that Tuscan guac, which is very good. And they also do monthly guacs where they kind of throw some different stuff in there. But again, I had Canado, and I'm like, man, I'll tell you this, though. Chipotle's guac never, ever, ever misses. It never misses. I know it's probably the salt content, and that's, like, they throw a lot of salt. I don't care. Whatever they need to do to make it good, that's all I give a damn about. Chipotle's guac never misses. It never misses for me. It's so good. And I will say that I'm skewed, as I'm sure some people might be on these comments. You eat one more than the other. I eat more Barrio than I eat Canado. So I have, like, when I think of making this decision on which one I like more, I just have more experience with Barrio. So that's probably the way that I lean. We could get into the beverages. Who's got better margaritas? They got some good slamming margaritas there.
We're going to have to go do a science experiment.
I guess we'll take the show on the road, just pack all this kind of stuff up. We'll be live from Barrio one day. We'll be live from Condado the other day.
We'll take the big play RV, and we'll go head out to Barrio and Condado.
Can we get an RV? Can we discuss that? Can we get an RV?
Make it happen.
We're at Burke. We should just get a helicopter.
We'll do a blind taste test.
I maintain you can't do that.
It's not.
You will know which one it is. Tell me that there's no way that you wouldn't be able to tell the difference.
I think, yeah, probably.
You would need to. We would need to find somebody that has had neither Barrio nor Canato.
But I would be surprised. So you think if somebody, like, even if they knew, like, you blindfolded them, you put the Barrio guac, you put the Condado guac.
I think I could tell.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I don't think I've been there enough to be able to decipher the two.
I think so. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but I would say, at least for me, because I would just, it's not that I would instantly know it's Canato. I would probably instantly know what Barrio is because I've had him. Or you know what I mean? So then it's a process of elimination. So we'd have to go find somebody, put the investigative team on this that we're building. Watson, Shoulder, Denver, and Guac.
Very, very. What are we doing?
A lot, Ryan. A lot. We're figuring it out. To Dave's point, fish tacos, not my thing. I like fish, but not fish tacos.
I'm not sure I've ever had a fish taco.
Well, I've had them. They're good. They're fine. Dude, what is the... Oh, my God. It's going to annoy me. I probably should go to... We're way late for a break. But
Pizza is just kicking
was
butt.
it Moment? No. No, I know Moment Show. They're back open downtown. Dude, oh, my God. I got to text my wife. Hang on. What was the taco place? 5 Mitchell's that closed.
We're off the rails.
Hang on. I just texted her. She'll get back. She's only dealing with a 3-month-old. No, it wasn't Don Ramone's in the Twitter inbox. Stop with the Taco Bell. It's not Taco Bell. It's not. It's not what I'm thinking of. I can literally picture it. Damn. I'm just gonna search tacos in the box and find it. Like, I'm in the area. I know I'm in the area.
He said when we come back from break, it'll be a half hour on pizza.
Oh, we could get into pizza. Oh, the Plaza. We did a poll one time about the best tacos in Cleveland. And dude, we didn't put the Plaza in. People were pissed. They were like, "This is a null and void poll because you didn't put La Plaza in there." Forgot about it. Si Senor always. Here's the thing about Si Senor, like Nueva Acapulco, Cozumel. Those are just so good. Like that, they're almost different. Like Barrio and Canato and all those other taco places. Like when you go to, like, I call it authentic Mexican, but when you go to that's the chips and salsa are on the table, just the heaping mounds of food that you get. God, I love going there. Somebody's got to bail me out. I will not be able to continue to go on with the show until I figure out what the taco place was that closed across from Mitchell's in Westlake. Oh, man. All right, I guess we got to go to break because I got to figure it out. It literally...
Somebody please let Matt
Somebody,
have
for the
peace
love
mind.
of God, please tell me. It's not Si Senor's, not Torchy's Tacos. Never heard of them. All right, let's catch a break. We come back. We'll revisit the Browns. I'm going to freak out. When somebody finally tells me what this taco place is, I'm going to freak out. It's on the tip. It's going to annoy me the rest of the day if I can't figure it out. All right, let's catch a break. When we come back, we'll revisit our questions on the Browns, talking to Deshaun Watson's shoulder. We're talking tacos. And I got to continue to shoot down this Garrett Bowles trade. It's not happening. We'll get into some Cavs, too. Cavs with their preseason opener tonight. Expectations for the team, the excitement, really, frankly, just seeing them on the court. That all comes your way next. Tacos and more right here on the Fontana Show. Big play. We're on YouTube, Facebook. Check us out on Twitter. We're also up on Instagram at Matt Fontana Show. And as always, streaming live on the iHeart app. We're back right after this. It was Bomba Tacos. Thank God. Now we can go on with the day. Thank you, Dave. Thank you to the Twitter people. It was Bomba Tacos. And it was Rocky River, not Westlake, because I'm a dumbass.
You feel better, Matt?
Yeah, I feel a lot better. Feel a lot better if I had some tacos, but that's okay. It was Bomba Tacos. They had good tacos. Fortunately, they closed, but nonetheless. Welcome back, Matt Fontana Show here on Big Play. We're talking a lot of tacos. We're talking a lot Browns. We'll get into our Twitter questions coming up. First up, how concerned are you about Deshaun Watson's shoulder injury? And what really started this whole thing, tacos or pizza? Pizza destroying it, even though we just got done talking about tacos for 45 minutes. Should we talk pizza for 45 minutes?
I'm so down.
Yeah, pizza. There obviously are more pizza places, so there's just some legacy ones. So let me ask you that. I'm asking this rhetorically, because I don't know if you know. Edison's, because I think they closed. Did they not? Edison's, the bar might have closed, but the pizza kitchen opened somewhere else in Tremont.
I have no idea.
Edison's used to be nobody knew about it, and now it's just blowing up everywhere. That's some good. You want some good pizza? Go to Edison's. They're very good. Athens is always very good. Ohio Pie. You ever had Ohio Pie Company?
I've heard a lot about it, but I've actually
they're
never
only
had
in
it.
Brunswick and River. But my wife is vegan, or she dairy free for a little while because of the kid. So we got to go vegan pies, dude. Them and Primo's have some really good vegan, vegan cheese, all that kind of stuff. So Ohio Pie, because especially I love how they slice their pizza too. Do you like a little tang with your pizza sauce?
For
a little
sure.
bit. Dude, you're gonna love Ohio Pie. You would love Ohio Pie. They're so good. Yeah, there's a lot of good pizza places too. But what if we put a pizza inside of a taco? Would that be than a calzone?
Yeah, I don't know.
There's discussions that there might be a restaurant that we'll put in here, the Big Play outing. We'll put that on the menu as our show contribution. I gotta shoot down this Garrett Bowles trade thing again. So it keeps coming up. I discussed a little bit about where I think the Browns fans are at when it comes to a trade. They want one because we're not complete. We could use one, and Jed Wills is not playing well. I will scream this from the mountaintops of this show again. You cannot, and the Browns will not, trade for Garrett Bowles while Jed Wills is still on the roster. That cannot happen. There is no way that the Browns are just going to eat Jed Wills $14 million fully guaranteed for next season for him to be a backup. You want to slide him over to right tackle? Like it would be any better over there? I don't know. But you can't have Garrett Bowles be your starting left tackle with Jed Wills still being here and on the bench. So now, if you really want to shoehorn this in, if you really want to force the Browns to go get Garrett Bowles, here's how you do it. You call the Denver Broncos, which seem to be a complete dumpster fire. They're going to be selling pieces off left and right. You call them and say, we will eat a portion of Jed Wills' contract. So Jed Wills is owed $14 million, fully guaranteed next season on the fifth-year option. This season, he's got a cap number of 4.4, but he's got dead money too. So it's nothing much. And they built in all these void years to spread the money out, all that kind of stuff. So here's what you could do. It would cost you your second-round pick, your highest pick. You call the Broncos and you say, Jed Wills is owed about $17 million, $15 for next year. I'll call it $2 for the rest of this season. We will eat $7 million of that. You trade us Garrett Bowles, who also needs to get paid, and we'll give you a second-round draft pick. And the way you look at it is, you are paying $10 million of Jed Wills' salary for a second-round pick. They did that with Brock Osweiler. It's not unseen that they would do that sort of trade, right? We will trade you a guy with a gaudy contract and we'll attach picks. That's how you get out of this. If you really, truly want to do that. But then you need to re-sign Garrett Bowles to an extension and hope that he is the prayer at left tackle. And he is the guy that you have to have. And you don't have a pick to replace him either, right? Because there is a world that the Browns could find a franchise tackle in the second round. as unlikely as that seems, yeah, there's a lot of tackles that you look at and their former first-round picks and their high picks, sure. Offensive line is the one position, probably more than any, that you can find all pro type of guys a little bit later in the draft. You can find anything, right? A wide receiver, a quarterback, running back, all that. You can find out. But there's something I feel confident about finding a tackle that you might need, or at least a serviceable one, a little bit later in the draft. So if you want to give all that up to go get Garrett Bowles, I'm not doing that. I want it on the record, as it's been on the record. The Browns, in my opinion, are stuck with Jed Wills. They have no other course of action unless they want to give up that pick and pay out the wazoo to get rid of him. And is it really that bad of a situation? I don't know. But I see people just continuing to try to find a way, like that is some sort of cure-all. Like that's something that's going to fix this offensive line. If that's something that all of a sudden, like that's the biggest problem. That is the biggest issue. It's not. So trading for Jed, or trading away Jed Wills, that's another part of it too. Who's going to take him? If you can find somebody to take him and take the money off the books, okay, sure, okay. Then maybe we can open things up. But I still see it, and I think it's just low-hanging fruit. It's low-hanging fruit. And I'm here to tell you, I'm just putting the kibosh on it. There's no way. There's no way. As much as people want to try to find one, I truly, from a realistic standpoint, don't see any way that you're trading for Garrett Bowles.
No, I don't either. And to be honest with you, it would be, don't get me wrong, I've sat here in this chair and talked about Jedrick Wills plenty of times. And it'd be nice to, not see him. But however, let's say we did get Garrett Bowles, right? Is he really going to be that much of a difference maker? I don't know.
I mean, the thing is, the bar, if you were trying to replace Trent Williams with Garrett Bowles, not good. You're replacing a guy like Jed Wills who, again, people have it out for Jed. He has gotten a label as he sucks really bad, and it's tough for a lineman to get rid of that. So the thing is, people's opinion of Jed Wills is actually a lot worse than how he's playing. And I understand he's not playing well, and there are people screaming that he's playing like crap. I get it. But no matter how bad he plays, people's opinion of him is worse than it actually is. And that's where I think the Browns are cutting through that, where they're saying he's serviceable. Is he good? No, but he's serviceable. And you have invested elsewhere. And frankly, now is not the time. The Browns made a mistake picking up his fifth-year option. They made a mistake by maybe not addressing that position in the offseason, because it's almost like you have made your bed, you got to deal with it. That's it. That's it. And of all the issues the Browns are facing, Jed Wills is not number one. I think there's a world that they could mask that. There's actually a world that you could get by with Jed Wills as your left tackle. People don't want to hear that because, again, they have labeled him, and they have already made their decision on him. So the people want to change for change's sake. That's not a good way to operate. Making a change just because you want this guy gone is not a good way to operate, and that's not how Andrew Berry can operate. Not with a limited salary cap that you can play with and you can manipulate, but you still got to pay that money. You still have to abide by the salary cap. Can't just go up doing everything. Forget a guy that is relatively better, sure. He's not the best left tackle in the game. He's not. He's going to be improved because Jed Wills is one of the worst left tackles in the game right now, so sure. Those are just... I don't see it. There's no part of me at all that sees any of this happening. Just like the Jerry Jeudy trade this offseason that people kept trying to speak into existence. His name keeps coming up too. I'll tell you this. I'm putting it right here. It's not happening. The Browns are not trading for Garrett Bowles. They're just not. It doesn't make sense. From a financial standpoint, from a compensation pick standpoint, yeah, I'd like to find somebody better. And there's a world that maybe James Hudson starts getting some reps over there, or that Ty Neshke guy that they signed. Maybe one of those guys can slide in there. Who knows? I have no idea. But it's not going to be Garrett Bowles. Save that clip from when they trade for him. Don't know what to tell you. Updating our Twitter questions up at Matt Fontana Show. We're asking everybody 2 questions this morning. First up, how concerned are you about Deshaun Watson's shoulder moving forward? extremely, moderately, a little, or not worried at all. Again, we combo these. It's still about 80-20 people are somewhat concerned. Extremely is 43% leading, moderately is 35%. And if you can only keep one for the rest of your life, 80-18 people are taking the pizza over the tacos. You mentioned Dave and Nick tweets and Mike. Yeah. Pizza over the tacos for right now.
Nick did make a good point, though, about how he could get his, Mexican fix-in with a burrito or something like that.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah,
so I get it. Yeah, that's such
understand.
a good point.
There's
I almost feel like that would make me want to change my answer.
Like pizza rolls or and a calzone maybe could do it for you. I don't know what to say. All right, we come back. We got the morning update. Ryan's got all the stories you've got to know. In hour 2, we're going to get to the Cavs. They have their preseason opener tonight. And I do want to get to the overreaction, or Dan Graziano's overreactions, underreactions for week 5. One of them is Bill Belichick. And I actually vehemently disagree with something that Dan brought up in this. So we'll get to that coming up. Hour 2 is upon us. Stay with us. Matt Fontana Show right here on Big Play, presented by our great friends at Tipico Sportsbook. Get signed up. Fade me when it comes to baseball because it's not going well for me. But you get those bonus bets, folks. If you haven't signed up yet for Tipico, use the code BIGPLAY150. You deposit $50, get $150 in bet credits plus a $30 dog pound bet. And that $30 dog pound bet is a futures bet. So you get that for however long you want it. I think it's a full year. I'm pretty sure is what you get. I love using the interface on there. It's easy to do. And you get a lot of different sports. So we can't bet on preseason basketball because that would be a little degenerate on that. But so sports right here, Tipico. You're a big tennis fan. You could bet on tennis. UFC. I'm a big UFC fan, so I'll be placing some wagers coming up. NFL, MLB, NHL, starting soccer, golf, WNBA. It's all right there at the top. They have the super boosts for tonight. Astros, Twins. Astros money line, Kyle Tucker and Yordan Alvarez to each get one hit plus 283. Carlos Correa, home run, Twins money line, 679 on the boost. Hockey, puck drops tonight. Golden Knights, Lightning, Penguins, all winners, plus 291 on a little boost there for tonight as the NHL starts. My Blue Jackets are down bad, man. They don't play tonight. They play Thursday, but they're down bad. Anyway, get ready to go. And these bets are good for all of it. You can get into hockey. You can get into basketball. Tipico, Big Play 150. Use that code when you sign up. Morning update. All the stories you got to know for your Tuesday morning comes your way next. All right, we got the Tuesday morning update for you. Ryan's got all of the stories we got to run through the sports league, some non-sports things. Let's get to it. We got Cavs coming up. We got our overreactions from Week 5 as well. And, of course, time off. So jam-packed hour taking you up till 11 o'clock. But, Ryan, take it away with the morning update.
Alrighty, well, man, not so good news in Minnesota. Off to a very rocky start in the season. And now Justin Jefferson is going to be placed on the IR after suffering a right hamstring injury during the Chiefs game.
There's scuttlebutt that Kirk Cousins could get traded. So the way his contract is structured, he only has a cap hit of $10 million for this season. So his per game check is like $550,000. Must be nice. So a team that could trade for him, you're getting him for peanuts. And he actually is a statistically good quarterback. Now, you want to talk about winning games and primetime Kirk and all that kind of stuff. But you're getting him for the cheap. The question is, which teams would be interested? Because there is a full-blown rebuild staring down the barrel there for the Vikings. Okay, he started when he traded away Dalvin Cook. They got rid of Adam Thielen. Now that Jefferson is hurt, you almost try to say shut him down for the year. Trade away Cousins, get a first-round pick for him. You could get that. And you try to start the rebuild. Okay, teams that are out that could use a quarterback. Jets aren't trading for him because why would you do that for right now? Although, I guess, they could trade him, then trade him away again, right? That's the way I could look at it. Although, is he in the last year of his deal? Oh, yeah, they're automatically void, but he's got a full no-trade clause. So you could trade for him as basically an expiring contract, play him this year, and try to salvage things in New York. I don't know. We'll see. The one that screams a lot of sense is the Patriots. And we'll get to Belichick and our overreaction thing coming up. He wants to chase down Don Shula. He wants to say, then go trade for Kirk Cousins. Now, they're going to ask for a first-round pick. Would they give it up? I don't know. But there's a lot. I put it this way. I think they're going to move. So I made a declaration that Saquon Barkley is going to get traded at this deadline. Who was the other player I said was going to get traded? You remember? Add Kirk Cousins to that list. I think Kirk Cousins is going to get traded. I would. That'd be a smart thing to do. It's cheap for a team. He's still a good quarterback. The problem is I don't think there's many teams out there that would be vying for his services. But I think I'd move him.
So, Matt, you said you bet on the Braves, correct?
Yeah.
But you bet on the spread?
I spread, yeah.
Alrighty. Well, if anybody saw the game last night in Atlanta, a historic and improbable double play sparked by outfielder Michael Harris II capped the Braves' dramatic series-tying comeback in Game 2 of the NLDS.
They said it was the first ever, 8-5-3 double play turned in the playoffs where he caught it. Bryce Harper was way off second. Harper owned up to it, and he said, we needed to score that run. So if it went off the wall, I wanted to make sure that I was going to score, and he got doubled up. It was a great game to watch because it was actually good timing where I watched a good chunk of that game before Monday Night Football kicked off, and then I was kind of flipping between the two. Yeah, Braves were down. They got a big home run for d'Arnaud, who couldn't throw anybody out to save his life. It is just painful to watch, but it was a great game. So as a Guardians fan who's searching for a manager not in the playoffs, that's all I want is a good game. And yeah, I'll throw a couple dollars down here and there. I need to take a break again because I am the angel of death right now. I am just the angel of death when it comes to betting on baseball. It was a fun game to watch. That's really all I ask for when it comes to that. And you had a historic kind of walk-off thing and excitement. I loved it. It was a fun game to watch.
Alrighty, well, in the NBA world, how about that? We got a Victor Wembanyama versus Chet Holmgren matchup. That was pretty cool to see. Might be a little preview of the future stars of the league. However, Victor went 20 points, 5 boards, no assists, but that's okay. Chet Holmgren had a game of his own, 21 points, 9 boards, and 1 assist.
Well, they technically are going to compete for Rookie of the Year because Chet Holmgren didn't play last year, so he's still a rookie. Wembanyama is going to be there's so much hype on him. I think he's going to be good. Chet Holmgren I never understood. Like, just the body type. Yeah, you want the 7-footers. You want the guys that have the range like that. But he's not built like Giannis or Joel Embiid or even like Wembanyama. And with tall guys, you have foot and ankle problems. Those don't seem to go away. And what didn't he have a Liz Frank? Didn't he? That's what he broke or that what he cracked in his foot. I'd be pretty nervous, man, if I was the Thunder. I'd be pretty nervous on Chet Holmgren for the Thunder. For the Spurs, good start. You just kind of ease them back in, but it's going to be fun. I like having it, and the NBA does this better than any league. They cultivate and they create stars, and they market them properly, and they have a lot of them. It's fun to watch, and I'm excited. I try to take the pressure off Wembanyama, but it's going to be hard not to. He's everything right now for the NBA.
Alrighty, well, we've had quite a little bit of incidents where media members are criticizing the bad play by NFL players, and last night, Dante Whitner was criticizing Dak Prescott, saying, Dak Prescott sucks, period. They talk so much about him being a top-tier quarterback franchise guy. I don't see it. I see them trying to cover up for what he lacks. How do you feel about that, Matt?
Well, I mean, the thing gogoes off to Rodney Harrison, too, who called Daniel Jones garbage. As the former player, you got to understand, in the media, I mean, I have a lot of thoughts on it. Because, okay, so in the media world, where I am not a former player, Ryan is not a former player, we are, quote-unquote, media members. A journalist integrity is what I try to keep, even though I don't write. Like, I'm not a beat reporter. But there is a code that I live by. There's integrity that I want to keep, and I, try to live that every single day. I get on here, I talk critical of people. I don't make it personal. But the player that becomes the media, which has become a giant part of the world that we live in, with Ryan Clark and Dan Orlovsky, and certainly Pat McAfee's probably the biggest one, there is that line where, yeah, there are former players, so they bring this great insight and intelligence to the game. But then there's that element that they were a former player. They used to talk smack, and they used to talk a lot of crap. And I think the networks like some of that, but there's to a level where there's a line to be crossed. But was he wrong in that? You know what I mean? Like, so we're mincing words here. If I sit here and I start to tell you, I don't think Dak Prescott's very good, that would be like me sitting here saying he sucks. Shooting the truth. Calling Daniel Jones garbage. There are media members that do that. Why? They're higher profile. They're on some bigger things, but I don't really have a problem with it. And you've got to own up for it. And I guess to Rodney Harrison's point of calling somebody garbage, that's maybe a line crossed there. But they're shooting it like they see it. Shooting it straight. They're telling you like they see it. So what's the issue? You want them to lie? And then they get yelled at for being liars or shills. You don't want them to do that either. It's a fine line to be had, but I think sometimes the former players are the ones that can cross it a little bit more just because they come from a locker room standpoint, where I'm sure in a locker room over and over again that they said that about their opponents. Like, they suck and we don't like them and all that kind of stuff. But I really didn't have a big problem with it.
Alrighty, well, the NHL starts tonight, Matt. We got the Predators, Lightning, Blackhawks, Penguins, Kraken, Golden Knights, and I've been hearing a lot. I don't know too much about hockey, but boy, have I been seeing a lot about this Connor Bedard.
Yeah.
Supposed to be one of the greatest prospects of his generation. I
mean, he is, and a lot of times in hockey, when you are to that level, it usually turns out. You're Connor McDavid's of the world, you're Sidney Crosby's of the world. He's supposed to be everything, man. He's supposed to be it. It's interesting for me because I am a Columbus Blue Jackets fan, but I wouldn't call myself a hockey fan. So, I don't watch up and down and know who's good and who's bad. The thing that I thought was interesting, somebody mentioned this about Bedard, was his first couple of games are against, Sidney Crosby, and, he's got a slate that he starts his career with, facing some real legacy-type players. Hurricanes are the favorite to win the whole thing. Golden Knights won it last year. The Jackets are going to be down bad. They had just a giant cluster blank of an offseason. They hired a coach. They fired him before the season even started. They're down bad, man. They're just not good. And that pains me because I love the Blue Jackets. I'll still watch. Maybe I'll start betting against them on Tipico. We'll see how that goes. But, yeah, it's exciting. I love hockey. I love the Blue Jackets. Like I said, I don't really keep up with it league-wide.
Yeah, so Matt, I was watching the game last night, obviously, and I caught Jack Eichel up there with the Stanley Cup.
He's another one, yeah.
So, because as I mentioned, I'm not too in tune with hockey. How impressive was it to see an expansion team like Las Vegas find a championship-level success so early?
Well, I mean, there's two things. Number one, when they did the expansion draft, they were able to get legit talent in there. And then number two, they have an owner that wants to pay. And that goes such a long way in sports. hockey contracts, the big hockey contracts are $80 million over the life. I mean, hockey players aren't paid a lot of money. Even the top guys, I think, are making 20. What's Jack Eichel's contract? Our highest NHL contract. So Austin Matthews has one. Active NHL player contract. Okay. So Shea Weber, the defenseman, I think for Arizona, who's just terrible, he's got a $110 million contract. His average per year is $7 million. Connor McDavid, he signed an 8-year, $100 million deal. He's one of the highest paid players in the NHL at $12.5 million. So that's nothing, right? That's nothing compared to 25, 30, 40, $50 million deals for quarterbacks in the NFL. So I think with Vegas, again, I'm not really up on it, but like they got Jack Eichel. Jack Eichel don't want to play Buffalo anymore, so they picked him up, brought him over. That worked out. They just really picked up a lot of good players, and they made it work. So I think it's impressive to a point, but that pisses a lot of people off in the league. You know, when you have teams that have paid money over years and kind of paid their dues, then you have a new team just out of nowhere come in and swoop the Stanley Cup up. You know, that probably pissed off a lot of people. But, you know, who loves that? The NHL. That's a new cultivated fan base. Those are more jerseys to buy. It's a brand new arena, all that kind of stuff. So I think it's working out well for the NHL. Plus, they got a new deal now, you know, with ESPN. So I hope that boosts the ratings. Hockey's always been a distant last place in America. I hope it picks up a little bit of steam.
Alrighty, Matt. Well, that was it for the morning update.
That's
However,
I
did just see a little update. The Jets are currently, I believe, shopping Mecole Hardman.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that too. This is the point of the season where you know it's not even so much who your team is, but it's who doesn't need to be a part of your team anymore. Like Chase Claypool imploded. Okay, you got to get rid of him. Like Mecole Hardman was inactive at $4 million in free agency, and he was a healthy and active. J.C. Jackson out there with the Chargers, healthy and active. You will start looking around, and teams are deciding who is a part of our future. And then there are teams out there that'll just swoop in and grab him. You're telling me that KC probably won't be on the horn to maybe get him again? Try to just fill in a little bit on that receiving core? Who knows? But that's where the Browns come into all of this. I don't see them being sellers per se, but there will be people that call about Greg Newsome and Grant Delpit and guys that are you just ask yourself, if the Browns, are they a part of our future? Are these players that in 3 years will be staple players for us? And if the answer is no, then you have to entertain trade offers for them. Try to get some assets back. Try to unload the book a little bit on the salary. Tough decisions to be had. Do I think the Browns are going to make a trade at some point? I do. To what level? I don't know. It's not going to be Garrett Bowles. Might be something small, might be something semi-big. We'll see. But I do think the Browns are eventually going to make a move. To Dan Graziano's article, the biggest overreactions for Week 5. So, of course, the Browns didn't play, so they're not a part of this. But I think some of these were interesting I wanted to run through. So, as it goes, Dan brings up a comment, a statement, something. And then he decides if it's an overreaction or an underreaction. He starts. This will be Bill Belichick's final season as the Patriots head coach. They're horrible. They have a minus 69 point differential over their last 2 games. That is the worst 2-game stretch in New England Patriot franchise history. They have never had 2 games as bad as they have had. We know Mac Jones is not good. They don't really have another option. And the biggest thing of all of this, Belichick is trying to chase down Don Shula's record. He is 29 wins short of getting that done. And at this point, and what Dan writes, and I agree, that looks like a 5-year project for right now to get him those 29 wins that he needs. Is that an overreaction or an underreaction? And Dan says it's an underreaction. He thinks that this actually could be his final season in New England. And he writes, I don't believe the Patriots would ever actually fire Belichick. But he says, of the final years of some legacy-type people, there's a chance the Patriots would get to the end of the season and decide it's time for a new voice, and they would just kind of go to Belichick and say, dude, we're not going to fire you, but you got to go. And I don't know if Belichick would hold everything up just to go get his record. I think he would. And that's why I disagree with Dan. Bill Belichick's not leaving the Patriots, and they're not going to fire him. He wants to get that record by any means possible. The other thing, he's not going to get another job. What's Bill Belichick? I'm shooting from the hip. Is he 70? I'm going to say 70, maybe even 71 years old, okay? He is not going to get another job anywhere in the NFL. So he has to ride it out with the Patriots. I think the Patriots owe it to him to try to get to the record, however long that takes. I know they have Gerard Mayo as their defensive coordinator. He's probably going to be the de facto head coach one day. Like, they want him to take that job, and he's not going to sit around for 4 or 5 years and wait for Bill Belichick to retire. It is a horrible situation. But that is the price that you pay when you went through the era that you had with Bill Belichick. You knew that there was probably going to be a time that he was past his prime, and you just need to let him play the string out. This isn't Miggy Cabrera for the Tigers, who are just lowly and suck. This is the best head coach that the NFL has ever seen. Him, Paul Brown, whatever, however you want to look at it. I think you got to let him play this out. How do you fire him? How do you do that? I don't understand. And I don't see a world that Belichick comes in and says, you know what, for the betterment of the team, I'm going to leave. I know he's a team over self guy, but for all the things that he did, and for as arrogant, and I say that relative, like I'm not saying it in a negative term, but like with the ego that Bill Belichick has, with the things that he said this offseason about Don Shula, after Shula threw some shade at the Patriots for their scandals, you're telling me that that's not the fire that Bill Belichick has to pass him, right? He's not going anywhere. There's no way that he's going to leave that post. And then fire him then. I don't know. That's just a bad situation. And they're going to pick up 3 or 4 more wins throughout the season. That's where, if I'm the Patriots, and basically, again, if I'm Bill Belichick, he can call the shot. Give it up to go get Kirk Cousins and sign him to a 3-year deal. Keep him around for 3 years so you can get your wins and then get out the door. And if you're Robert Kraft, I'd take that. I might even make that edict. And call Kirk Cousins, who has a full no-trade clause, say, hey, man, we're going to come here. We're going to trade for you. You're going to come here and we'll sign you to a 3-year extension, similar to the extension that you got. 3 years, 80-odd some $1 million. And we'll run it back with you. You jettison Mac Jones out of there. The other issue, and this came out after the game on Sunday too, there are executives in the NFL that are floored with the lack of talent on the Patriots. That they overpaid for all these wide receivers, for Juju Smith-Schuster. They have, Ezekiel Elliott. They are just void of talent there. So it's not as simple as bringing Kirk Cousins in and all of a sudden you turn into a 10-win team and you're going to the playoffs. I'm talking about you bring Kirk Cousins in to just try to win 6, 7 games a year, try to get to that record, and then you get the hell out. The other thing, does Belichick really need it? I talked about his ego of wanting to get there. We all know how good of a coach he is. Let's call it for what it is, too. We all know that now is more Tom Brady than him. Tell me that doesn't keep Bill Belichick up at night. He knows it was Brady more than him, and now we all know that, too. So they sit there. Like, it's not how you want to end it. And it's rare in sports that a star calls their shot on how they want to end it from a player or coaching standpoint. And coaches always get hired to get fired. I don't know how it plays out with Belichick. I really don't. Like, if I'm Robert Kraft, I don't know if I'm able to just pull that cord and say we're going to fire him. And if I'm Belichick, I don't know if I want to walk away from it. And there's a grind to it. There's a grind that a 71-year-old man like Bill Belichick, it's all he's ever known. But eventually, yeah, he'd probably want to get done with that and be like, dude, this team sucks. Now, again, you built that team. That's your problem. But I disagree with Dan Graziano. So he says he believes that this is Bill Belichick's final season for the Patriots. I don't see that. I'm going to cherry pick here a few here. Next up for Dan Graziano, the Giants will have a top 5 pick in this year's draft coming up. That is going to happen. Saquon Barkley is going to be out. He might come back. Daniel Jones has the neck injury now. They're going to be trash. Oh, this is where I got the Kirk Cousins thing. Dan Graziano. The Vikings need to seriously consider trading Kirk Cousins. And this is where he writes, we're 3 weeks away from the trade deadline. Kirk Cousins is in the final year of his contract. His base salary this season is $10 million, which means an acquiring team would have to pay him just the $555,000 every season for the rest of the year. It's easy math. If the Vikings traded him for right now, the new team would have to pay him $7 million for the rest of this season, and that's it. That's it. Cousins has an affordable salary, and he's playing well statistically. Could help someone sooner rather than later. Could the Jets or Falcons be there? One obstacle is the no trade clause. Cousins and his family like it in Minnesota. This is an obstacle and possibly one that could not be overcome. But if Cousins is not in the Vikings' plan for next season and moving forward, they would need to deal him. And I think that they will. The tough thing is, again, the family thing. But here's what you got to do. You got to find a team that will sign him to an extension. The issue is, and this is CBA work. I'd have to ask somebody, can they sign him to an extension right now? I don't see a reason why not. Like, you sign players to extensions, but I think as long as they're on your team, like, so we've gotten like Wyatt Teller and Jack Conklin, we've gotten deals during the season done. So I'd go to Kirk Cousins and go, man, I know you like it in Minnesota, but for $84 million, another deal, would you be willing to move? And especially for Cousins, you're not going to be in Minnesota next year. Like, I think that's pretty apparent. So you maybe take the money and run while you can. Dan Graziano, overreaction, underreaction. The Cowboys aren't on the 49ers level. Of course they're not. They're kind of fake. They're kind of phony. And that's exactly what Dan writes there. They're not good. So we're a little around the league. Overreaction, underreaction from Dan Graziano. Dive back into our Twitter questions up at Matt Fontana Show. We're asking everybody two things. First up, are you concerned about Deshaun Watson's shoulder injury? I want to refresh here. I don't want to give the people bad numbers here. 41% of people say they're extremely concerned. 38% say they're moderately. 11 and 9, a little, and not worried at all. Ryan, I voted moderately. And I think you voted moderately as well. Close? Extremely?
I actually voted extremely.
Oh, that's right. You did.
It's just...
we're both concerned.
Yeah,
it's kind of the rule of thumb here.
I think if we had a little more information, it would calm me down and go to moderately.
I'm drinking hot coffee today,
Good choice.
By the way, Ryan.
And then I think another factor that has amped me up to the extreme level is just the flashbacks of Baker's shoulder and just hoping it's not another situation like that.
I get it. I understand where you're coming from that. Don't worry about it. Different situations. And I do think the Browns have learned, not only just from like last week, but they learned, okay, we need to lean towards underperform, or like not underperforming, but let's go with Watson is not going to play. And then if he does play, great, grandioso, awesome. But you want to condition people that he's not. On the Baker shoulder issue, here's why they're not the same. They're flipped. Baker tried to play through an injury. Watson sat. And I want this clear. I'm not saying Deshaun Watson was wrong for sitting. If he couldn't play, he couldn't play. The distrust came in when Baker didn't get the Browns didn't have Baker's back. This is why these situations are different. Baker tried to play through his shoulder injury and didn't, and played poorly. He then wrongly assumed the Browns would have his back to say, dude, you played through an injury. That's okay. And they didn't. He talked to Pat McAfee this weekend when they were at the Red River rivalry, sorry. And he said he was confused on the exit from Cleveland. And I know some people took shots at it and said, well, how are you so confused about it? That's why. Because he thought that the organization would have his back for playing through an injury. I am not sitting here to be a judge or a jury on this. It's not my... Who was right and who was wrong? I don't know. I really don't. You could say the organization, that was a from a human standpoint, you shouldn't have done that, right? And I'm trying to equate it to a lot of people out there that have regular jobs like we do. or we have a regular job relative, but like when you do something above and beyond for your employer, you work overtime or you pick up an extra shift, you assume that your employer, your boss, they'll catch you on the other side. They'll get that back for you. Not just as simple as, oh, a pay raise or, working overtime, you get double time or time and a half or things like that. It's that when that promotion comes up, hey, I've bust ass and I've done this and I've worked this hard and I've done all these extra things for you. Now it's my time. I will sit here and tell you that's not how the world works sometimes. Well, I'm here. Sometimes that's how that goes. But that's where Baker made a mistake, assuming that that's how the organization was going to think. And then also that the Browns were going to operate that way. They're not wrong for operating that way because this is a black and white cutthroat industry. Were you our guy or not? Shoulder be damned, or how you wanted to approach it, doesn't matter. Browns moved on from him. So that was maybe Baker's mistake of assuming the organization would make him whole on the other side for playing through the injury. That's why it's completely different than Deshaun Watson. That is completely different. Watson is paid, has shown an elite level to a point, and he is making the decision for himself to not play. Now, this is why it's flipped. The Browns are now the ones assuming that Watson will be able to play through this and not have to sit out. I'm not saying that Deshaun Watson was fully healthy and then he just made a decision to not play because they didn't want to play for the organization. That's not what I'm saying at all. But that's how it's flipped now, where the assumption is now going for the organization. Because again, it's Watson. Is he healthy enough to play? Is he able to play moving forward? And if we learned anything maybe from the Baker thing, maybe it's good he sat, right? Maybe playing through the injury is not what you want to see. Is it a torn labrum like it was with Baker? No, it sounds like he's got a shoulder bruise. So you got to fight through that and assuming it'll get better. A torn labrum's not going to get better unless he had surgery. Eventually Baker had surgery, and that was the end, is all she wrote. So it's different. So I ease you on that. I get it. We went through that. It was a very conflicting time. The Baker Wars were an interesting era to live through, man. I know. I was a part of it. We all were. They're different, I think. I believe that they are. And there is solace to be had. I was about to say, Ryan, I will ease your mind by saying this. Deshaun Watson's your quarterback. That was not decided with Baker Mayfield. I thought it was. A lot of people thought it was. But right now, today, Deshaun Watson is your quarterback, and he will be your quarterback for a long time, just based on the contract. And I know that I read Jack Duffin's article at OBR like everybody about how we could get back out of that deal. We'll have Jack on. We got to have Jack on soon coming up. But for now, he's your quarterback. There's no question in that. So hope that the shoulder gets healed. Just hope that the shoulder gets. That's where we need to put our energy for right now. Let's put our energy into Time Hop. I'll tell you what happened this day in history. We'll get to that when we return. We got a little Cavs to discuss coming up as well as they start their preseason tonight. It is a big play. We're on iHeart. You can always catch us 9 to 11 every morning. Chico 12 to 2. Go to the iHeart app, download it, search Big Play under live radio, and you can listen to the audio stream. You want the video stream. We are on Twitter, we're on Facebook, and we're on YouTube, streaming live there every single day. And then also clips on our Instagram page and also on Twitter at Matt Fontana Show. It is Tuesday, so we have the return with Josh and Maria, if I'm not mistaken. Football show with Hanford Dixon and Greg Williams. Of course, Bobby Carpenter, Anthony Schlegel for all your Buckeyes talk. That show airs live Sunday nights. Reflog is on Monday. I love it. It's so easy. You just go to the social media channel and you could replay the show. I know we have actually a good chunk of people that I hear from, Ryan. They go back and listen to our show in the afternoon.
Yeah, and what's really cool about it is what you mentioned with the socials. You can not only go watch this whole show, but we have all the highlights clipped up right there for you. So if you only have a couple minutes, you want to get caught up with the news, it's that easy.
Yeah, I love it. So check it out. At Matt Fontana Show, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, all over the place with what you need. All of our shows on demand, Apple Podcast, Spotify, and BigPlay.com for everything. And very soon on the app. I'm pushing this because I can't wait to get it. Folks, we have an app in development. So you'll have an app that you can just download, the Big Play app, and you get everything. I think everything, right? Video, audio, all of it. It'll be all right there. Can't wait to tell you about that. That's coming soon. Time Hop comes your way next. Stay with us. All right, let's jump into Time Hop. We got the 10th of October, 10/10/23, your date. Let's head on back and tell you what we got in Time Hop. If you're new to the show, first off, welcome. We appreciate you spending a little time your morning with us. And we go back to tell you things that happened this day in history. Sports, non-sports. I have one movie for you today that I really, again, I'm going to have an issue describing it because I've never actually seen it, but we'll get to that coming up with Time Hop. But we start, Ryan, 2 years ago today, 2021. The Cleveland Browns taking on the LA Chargers. And I remember this game for it being the shootout that it was. The Browns fall 47-42. Baker threw 2 touchdowns. Nick Chubb had 161 yards rushing and a touchdown. But the problem was Justin Herbert threw 4 touchdowns. Austin Eckler had 3 touchdowns. And the Chargers get the win 47-42. I think my brother was at that game because it was in LA. And I know he went to a Browns-Chargers game at one point. I can't remember. Here's the crazy thing. This game was literally back and forth, where the largest lead that either team had was just 1 touchdown. And it came down to, and I remember this. So I remember this is what happened. The Browns were up 42-35. Kareem Hunt scores a touchdown with 4.5 minutes to play. Then the Chargers come back down the field and they score a touchdown, 42-41. They missed the extra point. The Browns are leading. And then did they get an onside kick? I think they did. Something. They come down the field and score the game-winning touchdown. Oh, no. This is what happened. Browns win for... Oh, that's right. Oh, my God, I forgot about this. So you're up a point with 1:31 to go. We kick the ball away. Pass. Timeout with 41 seconds to go. 1st and 10 for the Browns. Wait a minute. Oh, no, they scored. I'm all screwed up. So we are up a point with 1:30 to play. We go 3 and out after a pass that was called. Give them the ball back. They go 5 plays, 48 yards and 30 seconds to score a touchdown. We lose 47-42. That's why I was screwed up. Because then they gave the ball back to us with like a minute and a half to play, and we couldn't get down the field. So that's what it was. So the Browns fall this day, 2021. This day, 2016, the Indians complete the sweep of the Red Sox, 4-3 to win the ALDS. Coco Crisp had a 2-run home run in that game. I remember this story. This day, 2011, Marcus Bernard crashed his motorcycle. I don't know why it was a big story. He's a defensive end for the Browns. And he had one of those 3-wheel motorcycles, and he crashed it on 71. Like just leaving the practice facility. And I remember this big story happened this day, 2011. Very happy anniversary to me because 13 years ago today, Ryan, I started my Twitter at MattFontana83.
There you go.
I kind of regret it, I think. No, I'm just kidding. Twitter's fine. I mean, I spend too much time on it anyway, but it's not the same. There was a heyday of Twitter. I think it's past for sure. This day, 1979, the great one made his NHL debut. Wayne Gretzky suited up for the Edmonton Oilers to begin his legacy career. This day, 1948, a World Series attendance record at Municipal Stadium. Game 5, the Boston Braves and the Cleveland Indians. 86,288 people at Municipal Stadium for Game 5 of the World Series. We lost that game 11-5, but the good news is we were still up 3-2 in that series, and of course would go on to win the World Series that year. This day, 1920, the Indians beat the Brooklyn Robins 8-1 in World Series Game 5. Elmer Smith with his first ever World Series Grand Slam. Jim Bagby became the first pitcher to ever hit a home run in the World Series. And actually, Elmer Smith's grand slam was the first grand slam in World Series history, excuse me. And the Indians took a 3-2 lead in that series, 1920, which we also won. This day, 1845, the U.S. Naval Academy opened. Shout out to all of our service men and women out there. Thank you very much for your service, all the veterans out there. I would say the Navy. Like, no offense, the Marines, the Army, but if I had to pick one, I would probably join the Navy. I think it's pretty cool. I like being on the water.
Being a Navy SEAL would be so cool.
Oh.
But man, oh man.
I don't know if I could pass this.
I'm not even going to.
I couldn't even pretend.
I'm not going to entertain for 1 second that I could do that.
Very happy birthday goes out to Brett Favre, Dale Earnhardt Jr., former Cavalier Ryan Hollins, Troy Tulowitzki, Andrew McCutcheon, Geno Smith, Mario Lopez, played Slater on Saved by the Bell, and David Lee Roth. Sammy Hagar v. David Lee Roth is not a debate. It is David Lee Roth or Sammy Hagar from Van Halen. All right, one movie for you today. This day, 2003. I've never seen it. It's a 2-word movie. The names rhyme. So it's blank, blank, and they rhyme. I'll give you a hint here. Uma Thurman is a real badass.
Kill Bill.
Kill Bill is correct. This day, 2003. Spawned a couple of sequels, I think. Mm-hmm. Do I need to see it? Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it, but...
Okay. Probably don't need to see it then. Probably don't need to see it with Kill Bill. This day, 2003. Well, this day in history in a way, Cavs start their preseason action tonight as they are taking on, is it the Atlanta Falcons?
The Hawks.
Oh, the Hawks. The Atlanta Falcons. What am I saying the Falcons for? Atlanta Hawks, yeah. Hawks, Falcons, same thing. I'm just, again, don't get anybody. I'm happy to watch basketball tonight. I'm happy to see the team. It sucks that Jared Allen is still injured, and he's going to miss potentially the start of the season. But Ryan, my excitement for the Cavs this year is pretty high. I have high expectations. I want a top 3 seed in the East. And I think the Cavs themselves want that. We know the landscape has changed a little bit with Dame Lillard here. I think Miami is a real, powder keg. They could implode really quick and get out of there. Still runs through Boston, Milwaukee. Philly, we'll see. I think the Cavs are there. They're in the mix. And I think the fun thing about with the Cavs being so successful, or what we should be a successful season, is there's regular season games that I'm going to look forward to. There are big matchup type of games. Yeah, getting to the playoffs will be great, but there are big regular season games where I think the Cavs can compete with a lot of teams in the NBA this year, Ryan. And I'm really excited for this season.
Yeah, and I think the biggest question was, were we going to improve on our lack? It wasn't a surprise that last year we saw a lack of depth. Our bench kind of was, honestly, in my opinion, pretty bottom tier in the league. I'm super excited that we added Max Strus. I'm super excited that we added Niang. I'm super, obviously Thompson isn't really going to be a factor on the court, but just his veteran presence there with Allen and Mobley. Obviously, if Mobley can take that one next step up into being a top 5 player in the league, which we know of, hopefully eventually that's the plan in the next 3-4 years. I'm super, super excited for the Cavs, and I can't wait to see them in Atlanta tonight.
Well, and I also believe we need to just let the Donovan Mitchell contract thing go. It's something that was discussed a little bit. Donovan kind of shot it down at media day. I don't want that to be something that is underneath, oh man, just wonder. Don't worry about it. Just don't. And it'll probably come up at some point again this season, or it'll be discussed again. Just operate that he is here for right now and for this season. The Cavs are improved. They're better. Okay. Is Georges Niang exactly what we were looking for? I don't know. Is Max Strus really the X factor? I don't think so. You have a superstar player in Donovan Mitchell. You have an all-star, borderline superstar in Darius Garland. And you have one of the brightest stars in the game in Evan Mobley. Jared Allen is still good at what he does. Again, you piece in Yang and Strus. If Ricky Rubio, hopefully, again, stepping away from basketball for his mental health, take that very, very seriously, wishing Ricky all the best. Hopefully he can come back at some point this season. You add Tristan Thompson. This is a good team. This is a built team that don't get me wrong, I'd love to go get the number 1 seed in the East. I'd love that more than anything. Expectations are at the minimum top 4. Top 4, home playoff series. Don't think anymore about the Knicks series, which will be tough to do. And enjoy this. What I love about where the Cavs are at, this isn't any more or less enjoyable than the LeBron years, but it's different, right? You're a competitive team. When the LeBron years, you expected to beat everybody, and there was not like. Here's my difference: the LeBron years, we didn't care about the regular season. Not any one of us, outside of some big matchups, maybe against the Warriors, that you really cared about a regular season matchup. Yeah, you still sold out Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. You still cared as a fan we watched. But we all had that underlying just confidence that once we got to the playoffs, we'll turn it over to LeBron and we'll turn it over to this team and we'll go win a championship. It's different with this team, where I have lower expectations, not in a negative way, but let's be realistic about it. If they showed up in the Eastern Conference Finals, I'd be ecstatic. And that top 4 seed I'm talking about. But that's where my enjoyment is more of the regular season. I will enjoy the regular season with this team more than I enjoyed the regular season in LeBron eras. There's nothing wrong or different. It's just, that is fun. Like, there will be Wednesday and Thursday night TNT nationally televised games, us and the Celtics, us and the Bucks, and I'm going to sit down and go, hell yeah, let's roll. I don't know. It was different with LeBron. It was always different with LeBron because it was just, we'll roll the balls out come playoff time. We'll be fine. There's something about this team that's different that I love. I really like this team. I like where they're at. And again, I'm asking for top 4 seed in Eastern Conference Finals. Rod, I don't think that's anything too outlandish.
No, I think the only real teams that I could sit here and say, yeah, I see them finishing above them are really the Celtics and Bucks. And beyond that, I think the Cavs are the 3rd best team in the East, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, ESPN actually projected the Cavs to be the 2 seed.
2 seed, I'll take that. Because the thing with Milwaukee, they're talented. They could be a team that's kind of like those LeBron era. We don't really care about the regular season.
Yeah.
And there are teams that just don't. I don't know if the Celtics are quite there. Like, I think the Celtics are a team out to, like, prove some points here a little bit. I think Miami's going to suck this year. I think Miami's going to be really bad. I think Philly is going to have some issues unless they figure out this James Harden situation. So that's where I could see the Cavs sliding into that too. I could, because they're going to care. Like, they're going to mean a little bit when it comes to the regular season. Preseason tonight, the only thing I ask for, don't get hurt. Nobody get hurt. Play some just couple of minutes here and there, and that's it. One big thing around the NBA circle, Ryan, what do you think about all these star guys coming out now saying that they're in for the Olympics?
I love it. I remember the documentary of the Kobe, Bron, Melo team. I forget, Dream Team, or not Dream Team. I forget, Redeem Team.
Redeem Team. Yeah.
And it was so entertaining. And obviously, I was a little bit younger at that point, so I didn't really fully appreciate it. And to be able to see them go represent USA, team up, and build another super team, I'm all for it.
I mean, I think it's interesting because after the FIBA games where they didn't win, obviously. Like, that's kind of what spurred this. You know what I mean? Like, I just think it's weird that is what all of a sudden got. So who's it? Embiid's in, Durant is in,
Booker,
LeBron, Booker.
I believe that they're recruiting Jaylen Brown, and they want Drew Holiday.
Holiday. I read this morning that Drew Holiday might be in. Oh, no. I'm sorry. You're right. Team USA is getting after Drew Holiday.
And you know what? I'm sure a lot of this I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to pretend I know, but that Noah Lyles comment about being champions of the world, right after that we saw the FIBA happen, and obviously they underperformed. I would love more than nothing to see LeBron and Curry on the same team again and just whoop some butt.
Yeah, and that when they're at full strength, they shouldn't be. You know what I mean? They shouldn't lose to anybody. And take that for what it's worth of the Olympic. It was the FIBA World Cup. They'd all rather win an Olympic title. But if it got them back out there to do it, so be it. Because I'm not taking a shot at the World Cup team. Who was their best player? Jalen Brunson?
Anthony Edwards.
Hey, he did show up. Anthony Edwards and Jalen Brunson would be the 3rd and 4th guys off the bench if you truly had every single NBA player. I bring up NFL. You see, the IOC wants to add flag football. They are discussing to add flag football to the Olympics.
I'd watch.
Could you imagine some of the NFL guys doing? So I have just a lot of questions because would they allow NFL players to do that? Because there's pro hockey players playing the Olympics, obviously pro basketball players do all that kind of stuff. Like, would NFL teams allow their players to go play flag football? Even if you did the best college players, it wouldn't even be fair. Put Caleb Williams out there with Marvin Harrison. I'm sure Team Greece would have something. It wouldn't even be fair.
No.
The IOC was thinking about adding flag football. If you could add one sport that's not already there, what would you add?
Croquet.
Croquet. Great answer. That's a damn good answer. I was going to say mini golf, so that's pretty close. How do we not have a pro mini golf tour? Or if there is one, please somebody send it to me. I want in. Maybe we start that with big play. We did boxing.
Yeah.
Can we start a pro mini golf tour?
It's like that. Have you ever seen that one show that Steph Curry hosts? The whole, I forget what it's called.
Oh, yeah. I have seen that. But like a pro tour, and ESPN, the 8, like cornhole was all the rage. I feel like that's fallen off just a little bit. Dude, they have tag leagues. Mm-hmm. They have drone leagues.
The tag leagues are actually kind of entertaining.
I don't know how those people don't kill themselves. They're on all these obstacles, and they're running at like full speed, dude. I would catch a bar to the face and have a dent in my forehead.
There's a lot of parkour.
I can't. That's right. It is pretty much parkour, which I think is also an Olympic thing.
Yeah.
Is it not? We'll see. Top 100 players from ESPN came out for the NBA. No Cavs are in the bottom 50, so I think that's pretty good. So I would imagine Garland and Mitchell and maybe Mobley would be in the top 50.
Yes, I would hope so.
Well, no, I know Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland will be, but the fact that I didn't see Mobley on there tells me that he probably is in. He's got to be in the top 50.
Yeah,
because again, it's either top 50 or he's not in the top 100.
Then it's definitely top 50.
Like, hang on, let me see the 50th best player here. Like Marcus Smart, Desmond Bain, Zion is 57, Fred VanVleet, Draymond, Wiggins, Giddey, Franz Wagner, Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon's the 51st best player.
Okay.
So Mobley's got to be in the top 50.
Yeah.
There's no way. So you'll have 3 players in the top 50. I think that's pretty good from ESPN. So we'll see because they only did the bottom 50 as they kick off for the preseason coming up tonight. All right, tomorrow I think will be a semi-big day for the Browns. If Deshaun Watson speaks. I assume he's going to keep up appearances. Bad pun, I know, I'm sorry. He'll be asked ad nauseum what happened with the shoulder, how bad is it really hurt, and his status for Sunday. I want to prepare everybody for this, and I'll do it again tomorrow. He's not going to say anything, and that's okay. He will be trained to give non-answers. That's good. I don't need to know how his shoulder is doing right now. Would it help me sleep at night a little bit if I did? Sure, maybe. A little bit. But understand the grand scheme, the bigger picture of all of this. It's going to be closely guarded. Stefanski will speak tomorrow. He will give you nothing. If Deshaun Watson speaks tomorrow, he will give you nothing. And I'm sure the rest of the players were also coached up a little bit this week to say, don't say anything about Watson's shoulder. Whether you feel like, yes, no question about it, he's playing, don't say that. We have got to guard against this just a little bit and get the game plan ready to go for a really tough team. But I'm going to have the expectation he plays. And that's just do it this way. I'm expecting him to play. Just let me ride out on that. I don't want anything more to detract or add to that. Just let me ride out that I'm assuming that he's playing with an out that he might not. So we'll find that out a little bit tomorrow when they speak. This is normally the time that we do our bets with Tipico, but we have nothing. We have NHL tonight. You want to do NHL? I got nothing for baseball, Ryan. On Tipico. Big play 150. Use the code. Get signed up today. Get those bet credits. 150 bet credits for new customers when you deposit 50, including a dog pound futures bet, $30. I need the Face ID. Okay. What if I just did all the favorites tonight?
That's what I'm going to do.
Well, didn't they have that boost? They had the boost on Tipico, right? The hockey boost. NHL boosts. I thought I just had it. Anyway, I might just do all the favorites for tonight. Yeah, here it is. Boost right here. Golden Knights, Lightning, and the Penguins. They're all favorites for tonight, right? Plus 286. I'll put a 10 spot on that. 10 spot wins me $38. Place and bet. Tipico, use that code BigPlay150 to get signed up for the bonus bets. I'll give you my baseball picks just because you need to fade them. I will take the Astros on the money line. I will take the Orioles plus a 1.5. Astros money line, Orioles plus a 1.5. You can parlay it if you want, plus 246. I'll put $5 on that.
Matt, who would you rather see win that series, the Astros or the Twins?
I can't. I hate them. I mean, I hate the Astros more than anything. I don't really like the Twins either, so I just hope that the Orioles or the Rangers. I really hope the Orioles. I would really have loved for the Orioles to make it to the World Series, but we'll see. That's great. That's it for us. Place your bets on Tipico for tonight. Enjoy the evening of hockey and baseball. We're back tomorrow, 9 to 11, same time. Chico coming up 12 to 2. It's Tuesday. Nick Shook will be here for the hour. The bold, beautiful Browns breakdown. I don't remember what exactly called. Shook is here for the hour. Don't miss it. They come up at noon every single day with Chico. Or excuse me, every Tuesday with Chico. Chico's on 12 to 2 every day, but every Tuesday, Nick Shook is here for the hour. So catch that coming up at noon on the iHeart app, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. All the same places you can find us. That's it for Tuesday edition of the Matt Fontana Show. For Ryan Tyler, I am Matt Fontana. As always, take it easy.